Going all the way back to the days of the NES, Nintendo's Fire Emblem series has definitely been around. Strategy with a story, the games have a long tradition of solid gameplay and stiff challenge. Radiant Dawn continues down the same path, but has the latest game dug itself a niche that's a little too deep. A sequel to the GameCube's Path of Radiance, Radiant Dawn takes place after the last massive war in which the good guys fought bravely to keep the bad guys from resurrecting an ancient evil god. This time, the game begins with a rebel group out to stick it to the man in strategic turn-based combat and strike a blow against an evil empire. The game is divided into 4 parts, giving you a new lead character with each one and introducing a large cast of individual soldiers. If you haven't played the previous game, you'll definitely be going in at a disadvantage. Even if you have, the story feels disappointingly typical and generic starting out. Luckily, this turn-based war isn't going to win itself. Chapter-by-chapter progression and traditional grid-based combat are the 2 defining elements of Fire Emblem. There's no online functionality or any other modes outside of the main quest, making Radiant Dawn a very straightforward game. There's no way to go but forward. A linear story path takes you from one scenario to the next, taking your army with you into a variety of strategic situations that require you to eliminate, protect, or survive. Radiant Dawn gives you a stiff penalty for letting characters die in battle. They stay dead unless you end the current battle and reload your save. While it's impossible to progress without keeping key story characters alive, the vast majority of your crew is expendable, which adds a great deal of tension to the game. Individual soldiers are made up of different unit types, and each type has strengths and weaknesses based on the types of weapons or magic they wield. There are multiple rock, paper, scissors systems in place, and the effects are heavy. If an enemy manages to attack a character's weakness, there's often a chance that they'll be felled in a single blow. An interesting note for fans is that if you plug in your old GameCube memory card with the Path of Radiance save, it'll read the card and provide you with a few ready-made powerful warriors to help your odds. Due to the constant investment you will make in characters, you'll be compulsively reloading your game anytime one of your characters bites the big one. Because one false move can't spell doom, it can be brutal. The game does let you save mid-battle, keeping it out of the realm of impossible, but directly inside the realm of punishing. Radiant Dawn is for hardcore fans who know the ropes of Fire Emblem. You've been warned. While each battlefield presents a unique challenge, they're all made of squares. Range is important, and if you leave a vulnerable unit where an enemy can reach it, you can kiss it goodbye. Distance attackers like archers and mages are fragile, but the ability to strike from afar makes them valuable and powerful allies. Mounted units with extreme range also figure in, and units may be able to perform more than one attack if they're speedy enough relative to their target. Moving your soldiers to the right spot and attacking with the right weapons at the right time determines your success in the short term, while choosing which units to send into action and level up will determine how your strategy pans out in the long run. Not all units are equally useful, so there are tough decisions to make along the way. Other things to take into account are support relationships between units, weapons, and abilities, which can be traded. Things can get fairly complex, and if you're playing on anything higher than normal difficulty, you'll need to have a solid grasp of everything early on. Radiant Dawn doesn't cut the player much slack. Radiant Dawn might be impressive in its systems and structure, but there's not much to brag about on the presentation front. The game shows no real improvement over the previous GameCube release, which may not be as much of a problem, if not for the first game's unimpressive audio-visual package. The high point is the animation, which can be turned off, but the soundtrack and the visuals lack punch and feel, for lack of a better term, dated. Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn is a game designed for hardcore fans with very few allowances made for people who aren't yet familiar with the series. The game has a solid set of mechanics and challenging gameplay, but it doesn't make much of an effort to appeal to casual fans looking to get a taste of meticulous tactical maneuvering. If you're thirsting for a challenge, you'll find it. If you're hesitant to join up, this isn't your war.